I like how the more things change, the more some things stay the same. Like this sexy skeleton staring back at you seductively. Beautiful. Beautiful. So a lot has changed since the, last year's video. I did a big purge last year. Got rid of a lot of things, did some major reorganizing, but still got some new stuff, so it's definitely going to be different than the past few years. Big changes. I'll talk a little bit about that as we go. First, we got some masks and things hanging on the wall. Right there, and my prized possession, right at the beginning of the video, so we're just blowing the wad real early there. This Mountain Dew Pitch Black 2 standee with the creature from the Black Lagoon on it. This might be the most valuable thing that I have, and why wouldn't it be? I mean, look at that. Just beautiful. I'd love to find more Universal Monster promotional merch. I know like Pepsi, Doritos did a lot of stuff. There's the Burger King, Jack in the Box. I'd love to get more of that. The main focal point of my collection is Universal Monsters. I like to put a big focus on those, but there's still plenty of other things. This used to be my plush rack, but the cat kept yoinking them out, and now I'm just using it for random snacks in mugs, because now I have a coffee maker right in the bedroom, because I'm living my best life. I was trying to sell all of the Spawn figures in the Big Purge, but the ones that didn't sell I decided to just keep, including this Malbolgia figure on card. My cat is going to destroy this. He keeps standing right. He gets up here and he stands on this. He's going to probably rip it out. Thankfully, this is not the most valuable thing in the world, but I would like it to stay on the card, so I might have to figure out a different situation for that. My cat's annoying, by the way. Got Amigo Mole Man. Got a Creature from the Black... the Creature Walks Among Us, which is the third film. Got a little poster for that there. Also, I'll show this real quick. This is an official It balloon light. I know there's no branding on it anywhere, but this is official merchandise for It 2017. Just a little balloon light, yeah. Ugh, get up here now. This, for my, I did a fan-made Candle Cove movie, and I had this art commissioned. So, I had this printed version that I had to use in the movie, so I framed that. I'm very proud of this. So that was Uno Raccoon, the artist, if you want to check her out. I love this. I'm so happy with how that came out. And if you're a Creepypasta fan, definitely check out my Candle Cove movie. It's on the Freddy Leprechaun channel, not this channel. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about that. Show a quick look at the books. I got a lot of books. I actually got rid of a lot of books during this big purge because I needed to make room. But there's still a lot of books, including this French version of the Hunchback of Notre Dame, volumes 1 and 2. I don't want to get too big into the books for this video, but we'll show some other things. Resident Evil 5, Executioner. Just like the Spawn, I tried to sell all my Resident Evil stuff. I wanted to mainly focus on movie monster type merchandise, not comics or video games, but now that I'm done with the Purge, I decided to just keep what didn't sell, and the kind of like the things that aren't movie monster related, they're just kind of going to go into a general miscellaneous shelf. I mean, things are just peppered all over, but whatever. Got this at a horror convention, this figure of Mike Strauber from Truth or Dare. So the figure was made by an artist. These are like a limited edition. I think there's like 100 or so of these that he made. And then the case is custom. Like that's just a rewritable VHS tape. I printed out the poster for Truth or Dare, put it on there, and you can see it back there as well. This is like a 80s shot on video movie, and I really love shot on video horror movies. They're very low budget but very charming, and some of them are surprisingly well made considering how low budget they are. Yeah, there's just something pretty endearing about it. And this one's pretty fun if you can find it somewhere to watch. Not to be confused with the Blumhouse Truth or Dare. I heard that movie was shit. This movie has approval from Elijah Wood, so what more do you need? Also got this is the Mothman made out of clay. My cousin made that for me. A little handcrafted Christmas gift she did last year. I love it. So happy to have little, anybody can just buy junk at a store, but that's handmade. I love that, so I'm going to take care of that. Got this at a A&W restaurant in the Adirondacks. It's kind of near the Adirondacks in New York. They had an A&W up there, and they sold these little plushies, so I had to get that. I feel like I got rid of a lot of the plushies, but some of them stayed, including this Dracula right here. Wonderful. And down here we have, this is a Mayhair from At the Earth's Core. Trendmasters did a whole line of Tarzan figures, which is basically just figures based on the writings of Edgar Rice Burroughs, who, as you can see, he did the Tarzan books, but he did some other stuff as well. And the Mayhair is originally from At the Earth's Core. They are the main antagonists. They're these very nasty little creatures that have enslaved all of the humans that live under the earth. And Edgar Rice Burroughs does some weird shit. Read his stuff if you just want some out there things. I'm going to get over here now. There's a cup I got at the Rainforest Cafe recently. There we go. I had it facing the wrong way. It does light up. I got a little smoothie in there. That was like towards the end of a vacation. I was with my sister and her kids earlier this year. We went on a vacation to New York. That was towards the end of the trip. It's like the last fun thing we did before we went back home. And I filled it with a bunch of cheap plastic Halloween junk. Got some Chuck E. Cheese PVC figures. I was also trying to sell those, and they didn't sell, so I decided to keep them. I love just like fast food, restaurant, mascot characters. It's also why I got this guy right there. I just think that stuff's really neat, and Chuck E. Cheese is my favorite. I had some McDonald's stuff that I got rid of. I might, now that the purge is over, and I've decided, I told myself I wasn't going to do a miscellaneous shelf, but I just couldn't help myself. So now that I've caved, I'm just going to set up a miscellaneous shelf. I already got it going here. I'll probably get some McDonald's stuff. I already have a little bit. I got this McNugget buddy there. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back to here. There's some random media stuff here. I don't have a lot of video game stuff. I got Resident Evil 4. I can't really pull that out without... I can only do so much with one hand. But not a huge video game fan, but I love the Resident Evil games, especially 4, so I have that. Some random VHS. This Batman Forever, we found this in a closet recently. This is my childhood copy of Batman Forever, which is my favorite Batman movie. It's what introduced me to Batman, so glad to have that. This is also my childhood Star Wars trilogy copy right there. So yeah, try not to collect a lot of VHS stuff. I got rid of my VCR because I didn't have room for it. So it's like, why have a million VHS tapes? It's stupid. Got some Mego figures here. Got a Primal Rage figure. There's a Resident Evil Liquor right there. That's a Toy Biz one. I got the boxes for these NECA figures. They're on a cabinet. The actual figures themselves are on display. Let's get down here. More Resident Evil stuff. Really, I would have gotten a lot of money if I sold these, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I really love this chainsaw guy. Like I said, 4 is my favorite. of the series, so I'm glad I have that. Some more Spawn figures. Now that I've decided I am just going to keep some Spawn stuff, I need to get another figure of Spawn himself. Like I said, some of the Spawn figures sold, some of them didn't. And the ones that sold were all of, like, the main characters, like Spawn, Clown, the Violator. Those three, I know Clown and Violator are technically the same character, but you know what I mean. Those are the ones that people recognize, even if they're not, like, big in the Spawn, like, they recognize those faces. So, I like to, like, find some figures of those. Not the same ones that I just got rid of, but different ones. Well, actually, I had the Series 1 Clown figure. I might get that one again. That's, like, one of the few things that, during this purge, that I regret getting rid of. It's like, damn it, God, I wish I kept that one. I really like that figure. Thankfully, he's not rare. He's not expensive. So I can probably find another one easily. As for Spawn and the Violator, I'd like to get more, like, some of those more, like, detailed McFarlane figures of them. The Staction figures is what they're called. Some random Halloween knickknacks. Tried selling those Pez dispensers. They didn't sell, so kind of glad they didn't. I really love those. I recently found that this is a Pirates of the Caribbean cereal box toy, I believe, when the first movie came out. Found that at a yard sale for, like, really cheap recently, so I got that. There's a trimmer from Spawn. And then these are some of the fast food Halloween toys that didn't sell. And I will, I had things that I regret getting rid of a little bit, but they went to a good home, so I'm happy. At a Silly Slammers Halloween toy. It was the witch one that cackles. At a Treehouse of Horrors, Bart, and a Vampire McNugget Buddy. They all went to a good home. I gave them to my cousin, and she was so happy to get those. I also gave her a Ronald McDonald dressed like Frankenstein. So yeah, I'll just, I have a miscellaneous shelf now. I don't want like a million Spawn figures, a million Resident Evil, a million Pez, whatever else, but a little representation of things just peppered throughout here. I think that'll look nice. The goal is to just keep things away from where my cat can get to them, because he's not here right now. But he's a force of chaos. He's a menace to this household. So, as long as I keep stuff up here, it's the main reason I had to get rid of a lot of things, is because I had so much stuff. I couldn't keep all of it, out of reach. Some things had to go. But let's talk about some of these bigger guys up here. Got the Screamin' model kits. I'm a big fan of the Screamin' model kits. I did paint all of these myself. Got Leatherface with a custom-built chainsaw. He was missing the original chainsaw, so I did have to build that myself, which I did a whole video showing how I did that. Yep. Pinhead and the female Cenobite. These Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw, two of my favorite horror films. I love those so much. We got the Freddy Krueger one. What if I can, I don't know if I usually show that his hat comes off. You can see his brain. So, that's pretty cool. Got the Ash Williams. This one is not Screamin'. This is McFarlane. So I did not paint this one. This is from the Movie Maniacs line. And I don't know if I can find I don't want to make this into a disaster, but.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
There we go. He has a few lines that he says. It's awesome. I love it. So, yeah, I had to have a little bit of Evil Dead representation. I just feel like that was missing for a while. So, love those movies. Got this Vincent Price Hangman. This is from the board game. I cut the box out. The box was in terrible condition, so I cut it out and I fit it into this frame, and it looks pretty nice now, I think. Got this Michael Myers cut out. I left him out in the rain last year. I was using him for a Halloween party. Got a little bit wet, but I think he's fine. He's pricey. There was a bit like this sticks out now. It's It's a little bit of warpage, but whatever. I really don't care that this is not on the same level as that. Let's just say that. That's my baby. That's the prized possession of the collection. This is neat, but I just got it at Party City. It's like, whatever. Got more of these Puppet Master cutout decorations. Got those at a convention. Actually, those are a gift from my cousin. She got those for me. You know what? Well, I'll just get up here and we'll... I'm like stepping on the bed and everything to do all this. There we go. Yep, you gotta have one of those little Halloween decorations that does that kind of whatever that noise is. So yeah, found him at an antique store last year. They had a ton of vintage Halloween stuff. Had to get him. They had a Creature from the Black Lagoon as well, but he didn't work, so I didn't get that one. Plus, I already spent like between that and a killer tomato toy, which I'll show in a minute. I think I spent like $80 at that antique store. Yeah, so my life's together. I try not to collect a ton of masks, but this Frankenstein and this Michael Myers, these are like really high quality masks. So I got those on display. Like I do have more masks, but they are downstairs with the Halloween costumes, where they freaking belong. Then we got another Screamin' model kit. This is the Jason. He is in the box. He keeps falling down, and I don't have room to display him right now. So for now, I'm keeping him in the box, but he is in there. But even just the box on display looks really cool. There's some artwork that my cousin did of Boris Karloff as Frankenstein with my cat Boris, who fortunately passed away last year. I'm gonna force her to make some new artwork with my current cat named Peter after Peter Cushing. It's not an option. It's against her will. She has to do it now. So yeah, and then we got. Oh, that glare is terrible. But this is the NECA. Let me see if I can just take him down. Yeah, the NECA Hellraiser Chatterer figure on card. I don't collect a lot of things on card, as you can probably see, but certain things like this, like I'm very nostalgic for this particular line. I was so into these when I was a teenager. And this particular one goes for like $100 on eBay. I got mine for half that. It's still a lot of money, but, you know, better than $100. We're going to open this. This is the new cabinet, by the way. I bought this specifically to keep the cat away from all of my stuff. So I love the setup here right now. I got the Crypt Keeper. I got him lit up for this video. He's looking pretty awesome there. This is part of my vision, to have this thing so I could have the cord run out the back and have it lit up in the case. We got some full moon figures. We got the Pimp from Blood Dolls, Blade and Decapitron from the Puppet Master movies. That Blade I've had since I was a child. If you've seen the older Toy Room videos, you're probably wondering what happened to the Puppet Master trunk that I had these displayed in. Well, my cat kept knocking it over, and Torch got messed up pretty bad. Like, I'll just show you. It's right there. So it needs to be fixed up a little bit. But for right now, I can't display these in there because my cat will destroy these. And some of these I've had since I was a kid, and that has, including the Torch, that his head shattered. His head, I had to super glue it all back together. It was a mess. But he's fine now, I guess. It's not as good as he was before the fall, but yeah, my cat is a huge dick. But either way, they look really nice displayed on this thing. It's like a little spice rack. These are perfect for action figure displays, if you can get you some of those. Love that. And move over here, we got some other random horror movie stuff. Got this Dr. Satan ornament. I had this hanging outside off of one of those shelves. But again, I was like, the cat, he's going to catch on and he's going to claw at it. He's going to rip the shelf down and everything. So I bought for $8 one of these little things to hang an ornament on. But you know what? It looks pretty cool, so it's all right. We got Art the Clown. He's pretty... I'm not the biggest fan of these movies, but he's such a big icon of horror right now. I like to have like representation of all the different eras, so he's kind of like the big one right now. I don't hate this figure. He looks pretty nice up there. Got a ghost face bobblehead. Yeah. So that's that shelf. Coming down here. This is kind of like, I'm calling this like the Stephen Sommers section. Got figures from the Mummy films with Brendan Fraser, as well as Van Helsing. I figured if you're going to collect Universal monsters, you got to have a little representation of this. So yeah, this is... I loved The Mummy so much when I was a kid. It's such a great movie. This was like a hated movie for a while on the internet. Does anyone remember that? Like movies like Wild Wild West, it was like treated on that same level of like just a bad movie that you're supposed to hate. And now everyone freaking loves it. Rightfully so. It's a great movie. As a huge fan of Universal Monster films, who's a big like stickler for how these characters are represented, I love this movie. Van Helsing was a little less perfect, but I've grown to really love this one. More on a just it's like stupid and goofy kind of way, but you know, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie. Anyway, so that's the Stephen Sommers who directed those movies. And I hear he's going to be doing it. Actually, I don't know if are they getting the same director? There's going to be another Mummy movie. Are they getting the same director? We'll see how that turns out, I guess. Hopefully this video doesn't age awkwardly if it turns out like crap or whatever. But over here, this little section is the 50s sci-fi section. I'd love to get, a few more things to represent the 50s. That is my favorite decade of horror films. And they don't make a ton of merch for the 50s. Or if they do, it's like really expensive specialty things. So yeah. But, got some good representation here of some stellar films. Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Fly, which is my favorite 50s film. War of the Worlds. Good stuff. Then we get down here. This is mostly like 70s, 80s stuff. I kind of tried to do it by decade, but I just don't have the space to do it exactly. Like, this is supposed to be like 90s into the modern day. Which I think that is what all that is. But then down here was supposed to be like 60s to the 80s. But then there's some like Bride of Chucky, that's 90s. Predator 2, that's I believe was also 90s. So it's not perfect. Or this is from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. That's 2003. So it was more of a general idea of how to display these things. When you have limited space, you got to just do what you can. Also, nobody really gives a shit when they come over. But anyway, got this Beetlejuice figure from the 80s. This little section right here is kind of like 80s toys that represent 80s properties. Very specific thing. But we got Beetlejuice, got the Max Effects, Freddy Krueger. It's one of my favorite pieces. I had to like full on restore that figure. I had to he was in crap condition when I bought him. I had to fix his legs. I had to buy replacement clothing pieces, which I was able to find online, luckily. And then I got a little doll stand because he just wouldn't stand up. He's so freaking old. But then we got the Killer Tomato I mentioned earlier. That's like a water squirter. I love those movies. I think this is actually from the animated series, which I don't believe I've seen. But yeah, so other things I would like to go over here is like maybe some Ghostbusters, like the real Ghostbuster toys, or some Gremlins. Would really love some vintage Gremlins toys. So yeah, just like 80s stuff that was actually made in the 80s is kind of what this is. And then we just got a whole section just for Leatherface right there, because he's one of my favorite horror characters. So give a good look at all that. This Living Dead doll is actually from my childhood. I gave it to my cousin at one point, and I guess she held on to it for a while. And then it's like we do this thing where we give each other stuff and then it just kind of goes back and forth, just depending on how we're setting up our living spaces. But she didn't want it anymore, so she gave it back to me, and I'm happy to have them. And then we got just like some Movie Maniacs figures, super nostalgic for this toy line. That's the ones that came with these little posters. Yeah, those are really cool. I don't want to get a million of these, but one that I do want to add is the Fly. I want to get the Fly from the Jeff Goldblum version. Yeah, not going crazy with the Movie Maniacs, but I at least want to see if I can find that one. Really like that movie. And like I said, I'm a big fan of The Fly, the 50s version. That whole franchise, honestly, I really love it. It's just a very, like, thought-provoking kind of horror film. But anyway, let's try to get a good look at this Predator. This is a model kit that I painted. I'm very happy with how this came out. I feel like this is my best painting work I've ever done as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, he looks really good. When I was doing the Great Purge, I was like, hell no, I'm not selling him. I keep him. And if I did sell him, I would have to get at least $200. Is it worth that? It is to me. So yeah, it probably wouldn't have sold for that. And I've got a Toonie Terrors, Michael Myers. I'd like to get a few more of the Toonie Terrors figures. I kind of would like to get a Pennywise one, either Curry or Skarsgård. I don't have any representation of Pennywise other than that balloon, I guess. Or I guess I have a copy of the book as well, if you count that. But a figure. I have one of those little solar-powered figures that their head moves back and forth, but I didn't like it. It just took up, you can't tell by looking at it, but it just took up a bit too much shelf space. And I just want something a little nicer. So I got rid of that. But I would like to get a Pennywise in the collection somewhere. Now let's go down here. Got some Universal Monster stuff. Like I said, that's sort of the main focal point. I wanted this shelf to just be what I call the red splat era of Universal Monsters, which is, that logo that they had during the 90s. The little, I guess it's supposed to be a blood splatter. I don't know. But I wanted the merch on here to just be from that era. But again, I don't really have the room to do it like that. So some of this is not of that era. But I got another spice rack here with all of the Jack in the Box toys. Love these. I'm so happy to have the complete set of all of those. Those are so cool. We got the Burger King ones. These are classic. If you collect Universal Monsters, you have to get the Burger King guys. I mean, come on. I don't think they're that expensive to get. I think I bought these early 2020s, maybe. I forget when I bought these. I got them on eBay in a big lot of fast food toys. Except the Wolfman. I got him on a separate listing, but unless things have changed, I don't think these are that expensive. And they're just, look, iconic. Love it. Honestly, anytime, if there's something I collect and there are fast food toys related to that, I have to get it. I got those, and I'm also looking for the Pizza Hut cups of the Universal Monsters. Those are next. And then there's things that are like not official, but they're pretty close, like Taco Bell did their versions, White Castle did ones. I don't know, I love this stuff. So here's a hand-painted Phantom of the Opera. This is based on the Aurora model kit from the 60s. He's got his little prisoner in there. This is not from the 60s, though. It's a reissue, but it's still really cool. I love it. Got a Tigers Electronics Wolfman game. Got the Valentine's cards. Got a Aurora Dracula. This one is from the 70s. This is the glow-in-the-dark edition. I repainted him, though. He was painted when I got him, but it was like clearly like a child did it. And I was like, I'd like to try and do a nicer job. I kept it like that for a while because it was kind of charming that it was like a child's paint job, but I decided I wanted to do my own. So there you go. I also had the Luminator Dracula figure, which is like a reissue, but it was done in like neon plastic. Ended up selling that one because, you know, I kind of regret it a little bit, but also, God, I gotta make room. Ideally, what I would like to do in the future, these are just like collecting goals. I like to get the original Aurora Frankenstein from the 60s, then get the glow-in-the-dark one from the 70s, and then the Illuminator one, which those are from the 90s. Just get all three versions of the Frankenstein one, and then have them put in a case together. I think that would look really cool. But that's what I got for now. They've got these Funko figures. So the Mummy, Dracula, the Wolfman, they're pretty easy to find on eBay and stuff. This Phantom of the Opera, however, he is one of the few figures based on the Claude Rains Phantom of the Opera. Which, in case you're wondering, most Phantom toys are based on the Lon Chaney version from 1925. There he is. The Jack-in-the-Box ones are kind of based on Lon Chaney. But this one is based on Claude Rains from 1943. They don't make a lot of figures based on this version. And for whatever reason, this figure skyrocketed in price. He is currently going for like $70 on eBay if you can find one. If you can find one. I went through hell to get this toy, and it cost me, I managed to get him and the Dracula in a bundle, so I think it cost me like maybe $60, $70. That's a lot of money, but I don't do that often. I found them on Etsy, but I had deleted my Etsy account years ago, and it won't let me make a new one. So I had to go through this whole process of like contacting one of my cousins who did have an Etsy account. And it's like, if I send you the links, can you buy these for me, and then I will PayPal you the money back? It was a whole ordeal because they had one on eBay, just one, and it was like the price I spent on him and the Dracula together. That's what I would have spent on just the Phantom if I got it on eBay. So, honestly, I'm trying not to shop on eBay too much unless I get something very specific. But, you know, if you have a story like that of online shopping in general, I'm trying not to do that. Makes it a little too easy sometimes. But with stuff like this, I mean, what an elaborate story. They get this stupid Funko toy. And I don't even like a lot of Funko stuff. You know, it's not something I usually go for, but that one was just really unique, so I had to get him. So, sorry to gush about that for too long. Let's go down to the Kaiju shelf. This is another reissue model kit of an Aurora King Kong. This is a glow-in-the-dark one. I love when I paint the glow-in-the-dark kits. I just do like a light wash over some of the glow-in-the-dark parts, so that way they still glow when it's like glow-in-the-dark. Anyway. This is going to be a dog barking, sorry about that. This is a King Kong cup I got at the movie theater. Actually, this was for the New Empire. Got that little figure on top. I think these cups are really cool. I actually didn't see this movie. They were rescreening, I think it was Insidious. So me and my cousin went to see Insidious. I'd never seen it before. But I wanted the cup. I eventually did see New Empire, and I think it's my favorite of the legendary picture Godzilla and Kong films. But let's get down to some of this random shit here. Got a Mothra with a ramen noodles cup. I just found that at a flea market. I thought that was really cute. This is like a blind box toy. I usually don't go for blind box toys anymore, but, you know, whatever. It was an impulsive moment. I was trying to highlight some of the more unique things, I guess, like this White Castle toy. Again, if there's fast food toys, I gotta get it. So that was a White Castle Godzilla toy. I'd like to try and get the full set of the White Castle toys, but honestly, some of them aren't that exciting. Like there's a Frisbee with Godzilla on it, like whoop-de-frickin-do. But they did 4 toys. That's the coolest one, is this little guy. He's a little water squirter. Gigan, he's my favorite Godzilla Kaiju. My second favorite is probably Hedorah. I don't have any Hedorah stuff right now, though. It's a candy tin. Here's another reissue model kit, this one of Ghidorah. We got some Trendmaster figures. I have a lot of nostalgia for these. I was really into those as a kid. Then we got to get down to the bottom shelf. This is the Batman shelf. I tried to, like, with the cabinets, I just tried to just focus on movie monster stuff. But I had so much Batman crap that I was like, screw it. And I tried selling this stuff too, but none of it sold. Granted, I was overcharging drastically because I probably didn't want it to sell. But let's take a look at some of this stuff. We got Joker, Cesar Romero. I'm sorry that there's chaos going on outside, if you can hear that. Cesar Romero Joker model kit that I painted. I got some Happy Meal. I'm not going to highlight everything because there's just too much stuff, but got some of the Happy Meal toys. I actually have a box for the animated series Happy Meal line. I'd like to get more of the toys in that line, honestly. And we got some stuff from the Schumacher movies. Like I said, Batman Forever is my favorite. I had this Two-Face toy when I was a kid, and I would flip this coin around all the time. I thought it was so cool. I was very obsessed with Two-Face as a kid. Scarecrow is currently my favorite Batman villain. Had there been a big movie with him in it when I was a kid, I probably would have been just as obsessed. He's a very interesting character. There's a Mego penguin from the 70s, but he's missing his arms. I'm going to see if I can find replacement arms as well as a jacket. Kind of like what I did with the Max Effects Freddy Krueger. I kind of restored him. So we might try and restore the penguin. And then we got some stuff based on the Arkham video games. It's, again, not a huge gamer, but Resident Evil... I feel like I said that weird. I've been talking for too long. Resident Evil and the Arkham games. Those are like my two favorite franchises. And look, of course, we got another Scarecrow. This one from Arkham Knight. Even though I kind of hate that one, honestly, just because I'm not very good at games and it's a huge pain in the ass. But yeah, that is the new case that I got earlier this year. Hi, there I am. We're gonna get, hopefully. This is the first time doing a video at this kind of weird angle. I'll show some of this stuff real quick. I've got some VHS tapes. I need to get a shelf set up for those, but real quick, I want to show this thing. Let me just go ahead and open it. What else are we going to get to look in here? This is an action figure carrying case by Trick or Treat Studios. They did a whole line of House of a Thousand Corpses figures. This is one of my favorite horror movies. It is my favorite from the 2000s. And it's like a Build-A-Figure line. So if you get all of them, you can build this tiny. As you can see, I'm missing his arm. Because I still need... I'll show you. They got all the characters here. Dr. Satan. I still got to get Dr. Satan. But the rest of them, I have. Yeah, give a good look at all of these. These are just fun. I don't know. I like these. And I have bought none of this on eBay or online at all. All of these came from, let's see, the case itself and Captain Spaulding I got at Scarefest in Kentucky. I got him at a Horror Hound. And then Baby and Otis I got at a comic book shop recently. So yeah, all of them found the natural way in the wild. So I'm very proud of that. It feels more rewarding to collect all these the right way. The way the good Lord intended, you know. So I'll put that back up there. I also, just while we're down here, I also have a Batman action figure case. When I was trying to like reorganize stuff and I didn't want to sell the Batman stuff, I thought, well, maybe I can at least put the figures in this case, and some of them just didn't fit in here properly. And then there was like bigger stuff that's like, well, I thought maybe I'll just sell the bigger stuff. I was very conflicted on what I wanted to do, but I thought maybe I could just store them in here. But ultimately I just put them back on a shelf. But I thought it'd be cool if I just find like some random loose figures that are missing accessories. Maybe they're not the most display worthy. And I might put those inside of here. And it would just be like a fun thing to like show people when they come over. Or at least that's what I like to tell myself. Because nobody gives a shit about all my stuff when they visit. I'm sorry that I keep belching. I don't know what that is about. Hopefully you can see this. There's a lot of glare. But that is a Munsters model kit. I got these 2 shadow boxes, and I removed the back, and I put these like together, and it basically created like a little case that they fit in. But yeah, the glare is so bad you can't really try and get a closer look. I tried to put as much stuff behind glass as possible, just to keep the cat out of it and to keep the dust off of it as well. But you know, when you have as much crap as I do, that's not always practical. Anyway, let's get to this now. So this is the Hammer horror shelf. I need 2 more figures to complete this set. There's the Mummy and the zombie from Plague of the Zombies. If you're wondering, what about the Curse of the Werewolf? Yeah, they didn't do one. Dang it, Mego. What is that about? They were also planning to do the Gorgon, which would have been nice. We could have got 2 lady monsters. Got this one. Sorry, I don't have a lot of room to do this. They got the reptile. So, you know, it would have been cool to have her and the Gorgon. But either way, love Hammer movies. So, and that coffin, my niece was like selling it. We had a big yard sale. She was going to sell that. And I just said, hey, can I have that? And then I put the red backing in it. And now I'm displaying the Dracula in there. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I like to get kind of cute with how I display things. Most of this shelf is more Universal monsters. We got a lot of these 8-inch Sideshow collectible figures. Not the best lighting over here, I'm afraid. I did want to, at one point, get like some LED lights throughout both of these cabinets just to light it better. We got a NECA mummy right there. That was a gift from a friend of mine. Actually had one already, but the box was messed up. So he, not knowing I already had one, got me this one. He found it for a really good price. It's like, oh, cool. I'll keep the one with the better box and I'll sell the other one. So, awesome. Love that. And this is all Lon Chaney down on this shelf. Got the NECA. Yeah, it's kind of dark, so it's not going to focus the best down here. I'm sorry. But the NECA Phantom of the Opera, I have them displayed with the mask and that little air tube. And then we got the Sideshow Phantoms, Hunchback. And this is one of the newer things in the collection I'm really happy about. But again, it's like so dark, you can't really see things too good. But that is the London After Midnight vampire from the famous Lost film. Yeah, next year I'm going to have to get some better lights so you can see this a little bit more clearly. This cabinet is kind of tucked away at a weird corner, so it's kind of hard to get the best look. Got the Sideshow Dracula, one of the more valuable, rarer figures that I have. And then one of the super not rare figures is the Mezco Silent Screamers Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That was a whole action figure line based on silent horror films, but they're not very accurate to the movies. Some of them are closer than others, but you know, like this one's not too bad, and it's currently the only Jekyll and Hyde that I have. God, I hate how dark this is. It's just in case you're annoyed, I want you to know that I'm also annoyed that it's so dark and I can't really see that good. This is the Frankenstein shelf. So we got the Sideshow figures. Got Igor back there. And we also have from Mego, the young Frankenstein figures. I'd like to get an Igor to go properly in between there. I think that'd be nice. Just get the whole cast of characters from young Frankenstein. And then I love these. I think these are from CVS, these plush toys. This is another rare exception of a Claude Rains Phantom of the Opera toy. I had this one when I was a kid. This is a replacement one. It's not from my childhood, but I love it. Hunchback, Wolfman, Creature. I'd like to get the whole set of these. These aren't too expensive, it looks like. And I only need 4 more. Was it Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy and The Bride of Frankenstein. So, yeah. That'd be cool if I could get all of those. I'm very particular on what do I just want a little representation of and what do I want to get a complete set of. But, yeah. God, there's so much crap. Okay, this wall now. This is from NECA, the Ben Cooper Phantom of the Opera figure. Love them. I want to actually see if I can find an actual Ben Cooper Phantom of the Opera mask, and then maybe hang it like next to it in like some sort of shadow box case. I think that would be really cool. Got some horror host signatures. Got Mr. Lobo from Cinema Insomnia. I love his sense of humor. He's very hilarious. And then of course we got Elvira right there. I don't go for a lot of signatures. I'm not a big autograph collector, but I might, if the opportunity arises, I would like to get more horror host signatures. I just think they're interesting, fun people. Here's a little bit of movie history right there. Netflix envelope framed. Yeah. I have a lot of nostalgia for... I rented so many movies off Netflix back in the day. I kind of miss that. Oh, let's get up here. Got a Kenner Beetlejuice figure of Otho. Found that carded. So, yeah, I don't keep a lot of carded stuff, but if I do, it's something special, you know. Like Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies. Spawn really kind of reflects my angsty teenage years, as well as the NECA Hellraiser figures, I guess. So yeah, but then I got these more of these cases here. I got these cases at Dollar General. They all had like a little flower in the center, and I just ripped the flower out and printed these pictures out to put in the back. So very, very cool way to customize some, some little shadow box things. They're not really meant to be used this way, I guess, but it works. So this case, we got some Palmer Plastics monster figures. There are 8 of these figures. 4 of them were like Universal monsters, and then 4 were other random things, including It, the Terror from Beyond Space, that's on my hit list. I'm looking for that one. I did a King Kong, and then here we got Gorgo. As you can see, that's the picture I used there, and then the Cyclops from Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Over here we got some Funko reaction figures. I just got one for each of these cases. If I get more of these figures, I figured I could probably get like 4 or 5 each in these cases. But got Frankenstein in that one. Got the creature in that one. Those were a gift from a friend. He actually got me those way back in 2014. And considering the amount of purges I go through, because I get so much crap, I'm surprised those hung around. But those are probably going to hang around till the grave at this point, And then from one of my all-time favorite movies, these are the Clash of the Titan figures, released in 1980, I think, a year before the film came out. I got all 4 of the regular scale figures. They're missing their swords and shields and stuff, but the figures themselves are all here. And I don't know if you can tell, Calabos, I found one that actually has the tail. He was not cheap. I had one last year where the tail had broken off. And you can buy like 3D printed replacements, but they're like $10. And I'm like, yeah, if I want to start spending that kind of money, let's just get an authentic one. So I won the Calabos in an auction, actually. I thought I was going to get outbid, actually, if I'm being honest. I thought, like, I'll bid because I know I'll lose it anyway. And then I won. Okay, great. I think he was like $60, so that's a lot. I usually don't spend that much money on toys, but specific ones, I'll go there. And then this is a 1960s, like, kind of grindhouse poster, I guess. This is an actual poster used to advertise this film, Nightmare in Wax. So, terrible, god-awful movie, but it's a cool poster. I used to have little, like, plastic Halloween toys glued around this frame. I scraped all of them off because my cat kept clawing at him, and I was worried he's going to rip this whole poster down. So I scraped him off, sanded it down, and then I painted it this glossy black. I think it looks all right. I don't know. Some more art that my cousin did of Skeletor. And then this shelf is where I keep my CDs. I'd like to get some more CDs. It's one of the few Funko Pops I own. You probably saw the Poison Ivy one earlier. I really don't want... I had like Billy from Hocus Pocus has a Funko Pop, and I got rid of that. I would like some Hocus Pocus stuff, but I was like, I don't want a Funko Pop. A few are nice for representation, but they're kind of tacky, and they stink up your collection, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just me. It's my opinion. I think they were a little overproduced, and they just feel like a plague more than anything. But, yeah, I recently repainted this shelf to look like a little haunted house. I got some random little knickknacks on this shelf. I don't need to comment on everything, I don't think, but I will show. I gotta pull this chair off. You know, let me just, I don't know if I ever show this. I got this Goosebumps blanket. I love Goosebumps, and I think I should get some more Goosebumps merch in the miscellaneous shelf. But for now, I just got this. I also had a bunch of the books, but I don't have room for them, so I gave those to my niece. My adult niece, I should probably mention, not like a child. I didn't give a bunch of vintage Goosebump books to a child, though. Honestly, they're not that valuable. I don't know why I'm even saying that, but I want to show you this. Oh my god! Yeah, I got a little Bindi skeleton in there. I love that. And then I don't know what these things are supposed to be. These are so weird looking, but I got two on either side of there. I guess just cheap ass Halloween toys. I don't know. I'll also point Charlie from the Dent Schoolhouse out. This is a haunted house attraction we have in Cincinnati. He's kind of like the mascot, I guess. We got some artwork from one of my artist friends. I think most of their social medias, it's Peepo. That's what they go under. I think the name on there was Fearless. I don't want to say the wrong name, and then I try to support my artist friends if I can, but most of their social medias, it's Peepo something. They got a black cat as in their profiles, but that was some pretty interesting artwork. So that's a print that I bought off of them. This is my cousin did this as well. This is like tattoo flash sheet stuff, random Halloween things. I love those little. Those are so cool. Those little candy corns. She did a good job on those. I got a Corpse Killer poster. This is from a really terrible video game, and there's a massive glare right in the center. Next year, I'm going to have to be more aware of the lighting, I think. I might have to do this with the curtains closed. Some Toxic Avenger artwork that we met some guy at the flea market, and I guess he was an illustrator, and me and my cousin were talking to him, and he just drew that and gave it to us. So yeah. I think that's everything. I think I've given a good overview, and I've been talking for like 50 minutes almost. No, not almost, over 50 minutes, and I'm probably not going to edit this. So I hope you enjoy what I do for you freaking people. Yeah, bye.